Hey, everybody. Welcome to a brief training session on our strategic plan, individual employee objectives, self-assessment. So this video is a follow-up to the PowerPoint presentation that I did during last week's fall convocation, where I sort of shared, how we're going to be using the product, how every single employee on campus will log into ECM, view their individual objectives that your supervisor has put in for you, and then just click a button to choose a self-assessment category. So in addition to this sort of step-by-step training, I've also sent everyone on campus an email of the PowerPoint that I used last week, which is going to have really those screenshots of step-by-step if you've never logged into ECM before, and you're going to need to set up your account password. So in addition to that, you'll have this part of the training, which really is just watching me go step by step, click by click on my own employee objectives and showing you how this self-assessment is done. So for probably 90% of employees, you're only going to have 4 of these objectives that are in for you that your supervisor has designated that you would have completed or almost completed by September the 30th, 2021. And that's what you're going to log into, put an assessment category on. Now, going forward, in quarters 2, 3, and 4, your supervisor may put additional objectives in for you. And so after you have that quarterly meeting with your supervisor, then you would just log back into ECM and then add an update either on the ones that you hadn't finished from quarter 1, or if there's new objectives for you that are due in quarters 2, 3, and 4, you would add, click the button on those. So this is a really simple, easy process. But if you've never used ECM before, you may feel like you need some hands-on help, and that is available. At the end of our training, I'm going to show some dates where Connie Hoffman and I will be available in F403 to really just kind of help you with whatever you need help with, whether you're already an ECM user and you just want to, have someone watch you the first time that you do your self-assessment, or if you're completely brand new and you need to set up a password, we will be there to help you through that process as well. So first things first, I'm going to share my screen and just briefly sort of go over, what we talked about on how to find ECM during my PowerPoint presentation last week. So this is our college website. You scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll click on Faculty Staff Access. The very last link here is ECM, which is where we're going to be doing this work for the strategic plan. I'm going to go ahead and log in. Once again, if you need login help, you can refer to the PowerPoint with step-by-step screenshots, or you can come to a live training. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to log in. And so when you first log in, if you're brand new and you don't use ECM now, you're going to enter into, another application. And so if you haven't used ECM before, that would be class office hours. So the way you're going to sort of switch between class office hours or, SAI or whatever it is you're normally using ECM for, the way you get to strategic planning is by using this drop-down menu button here. And so you can see all of the applications that I have access to. Strategic planning is always going to be at the bottom of the list. If you have never used ECM before, you're only going to see 2 things on this list: class office hours and strategic planning. So click on strategic planning, and I have a lot of choices over here on this left-hand menu. You may, if you're a manager, you're going to see a lot of things too. But if you're, you know, an employee who's only logging in here to do the self-assessment on your individual employee objectives, which the majority of you probably are, what you're going to see is update employee objectives. So these objectives that I've been referring to, they are going to be created for you by your supervisor. So you're not having to put in any text. This is simply clicking a button that you'll be doing every quarter. So it's update employee objectives. I'm going to click here, and then a drop down will appear where you will choose your name. Your list of names probably isn't going to be as long as mine, but just because of my job, I can see everyone. So I clicked my name, and here are the 4 objectives that Williette put in for me. So we've had our quarterly meeting. We've talked about where I am with these items. So now I'm ready to log in and do my self-assessment or self-reflection. So the first objective states it's about FPAT report production. So this is something that I'm going to do by September 30th, but I'm actually going to continue to do it every semester. But I need to log in and say whether or not I've completed this task or not, and, you know, give a little bit of extra information. So here's the actual, you know, full objective. Once I clicked on edit, I'm going to scroll down at the bottom, and that is where I see the self-reflection. So look for these gray boxes down at the bottom of each individual objective. So right now, I'm only going to be clicking this first quarter box. That is the only box that you're going to click in. And so they're clearly labeled which quarter you're going to be entering information for. So this particular objective, I know I'm in the right one because Williette has said you should have this done by the first quarter. And on each objective, it will say, some of mine say quarter 3, some say quarter 4, but right now, this one says first quarter. So I know that by September 30, I need to have this done, and I'm gonna log in and let her know on this one whether or not I've done it. So self-reflection assessment first quarter, you've got 4 choices that you will have discussed with your supervisor. Either I haven't started it yet, which means I need help. Now this help could be the fact that I don't know how to complete this objective. Nobody's shown me, I need training. It could be that, you know, we were supposed to purchase a product or something that I need to get this done. Whatever it is, if you haven't started, you will need to have had a conversation, you know, with your supervisor, and they'll know what you need. But go ahead, if you haven't started, mark, you know, the not yet started button. In progress, you're working on it, but you've talked about it with your supervisor, and they will know where you are in the process of whatever, you know, this objective is, what you're doing to achieve it, and what your time frame is. Or you can click completed, which means you're done, you're good to go. Then we also put in a choice called canceled, postponed, or modified. So sometimes your supervisor may have put in an objective for you and something completely changes. You know, the college goes in another direction. Maybe we weren't able to buy that product, or maybe someone else has to do their piece of a project before you can do yours. Whatever it is, if your conversation, if your quarterly meeting with your supervisor indicates that really we don't need you to do this anymore, they will tell you, and at that point you can click canceled, postponed, or modified. So this one is completed. I'll continue to do it, you know, periodically. So I'm going to make sure that the little blue radio button here is clicked next to completed, and that's it. I will not touch these other gray boxes until later. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and hit save. And it'll tell me that your objective was updated. And it's as simple as that. So let's do one more. because depending on, what your job is, you may have a list here. So that was just the first one for me. And you can see that I've done what I was supposed to do because it says that I've completed the first quarter self-reflection assessment. And then it does a timestamp of when I logged in and did that for my supervisor. So now Williette's going to be able to see all of her employees, whether or not they've completed this step or not. So I'm going to keep on scrolling until I get to my second objective. So this one, 1.3.1, is in regards to the submission of our SAC COC 5th year accreditation report, which I have done. It was due on September the 15th, and I think that it arrived to them on the 11th or 12th. So I'm ready to go ahead and put in that I've completed this. I'm going to click the Edit This Objective button. And at that point, I'm going to scroll down until I get to the gray boxes and mark it as completed under quarter 1. And click Save. I get the OK. So I know that it's, saved what I clicked on. And then once again, I can keep scrolling. There was my first one that we completed, and now the second one also is indicated as completed. So the third one is submission of SLOs, making sure that all of the offices on campus have done all their unit plans and student learning outcomes. This one's still in process. So I have a couple of people I still need to get some information from. So on this one, I might mark in progress and then talk with her a few weeks from now. Like I say, depending on what your objectives are, some of these may be not started, some may be in progress, but all of these you will review at an in-person meeting with your supervisor every quarter. So there are a couple of mine in here, I think, that actually have a later date. Let's see if I don't know, all of these do say September 30th, but let's say Williette says, okay, we've gotten to September 30th. I'm ready for you to move on to another objective. Then she'll put it in for me, and that one will have a due date of quarter 2. Once we have our meeting, at the end of quarter 2, in December, then, January when we get back, I'll be able to do this again, and I'll use the quarter 2 box for those objectives. So let's say I've gone in, I've clicked all of the boxes for everything that I need to click. Really, that's it. And I'll know that I'm done because I will see this little green completed box next to every one of the objectives that Williette has put in for me that have a due date of first quarter. I can go in and do my self-assessment for all of them. And once I've done that, really, there's nothing else that I have to do. You guys won't see this manager review section, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm not scrolling all the way down there. That's only something that your supervisor can see. So at this point, all you have left to do is click Close, and then you can sign out. So that is a very brief process that you'll be completing. But really, the thing that's going to take the longest for many of you is setting up your password. That takes way longer than logging in and doing your self-assessment, which I just showed you. So if you are interested in coming to a face-to-face training, I've got 3 dates on the screen here. So they're all going to take place in building F403, which is a computer lab with like 18 or 20 seats. So we've got plenty of room for everyone to come, sit down, we'll show you how to log in, whatever you need to do, and then we'll help you through, through clicking your own self-assessment. So these 3 dates, I have chosen times both in morning and afternoon. However, if you see that you are not going to be available for any of these 3 meetings, but you really would like to have someone one-on-one in person showing you what to do, please reach out to me via email. You can either just respond to this email that I sent the video link on, or you can call me, and we can set up a meeting one-on-one, or I can come to your office and you can log into your computer and I can help you kind of get in and very briefly do what you need to do for these self-assessments. Thank you guys so much for watching this training. You can reach out if you have questions or comments, and I look forward to seeing you at the next training. Thanks so much.